Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. Today's going to be a quickie but a goodie. Happy Good Friday. Happy Easter if I don't see you sooner. And what do I have up here? I have the last three halving dates. And since we are in a sandpaper range, it's been, so much sandpaper lately. But so I thought it'd be a good day to review kind of the macro outlook, where we're at going into the halving cycle, which the next halving is supposedly going to be April 5th, 2024. Give or take a day or two. I don't think they put an exact date on it, but we are about a year out from the halving. And the reason I bring this up is, well, the last halving, let me take off the pencil lock. The last halving occurred April 2020. And exactly 52 weeks before then, the bull market started. And you can see this is 52 weeks. The first rally got you 178%. Typically, there's a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. This was COVID. The COVID lows knocked us out there. But, essentially, if you got long there, well, a 1,200% gain, not bad. Prior to the July 2016, Bitcoin was $250. A year out, had you bought, and again, buy the rumor, sell the news, it rallies into the halving, and then typically there's a bit of a sell-off after the halving. That's typically what happens. Now, there's only been 3 halvings in Bitcoin's history. We are upon the 4th. A year will fly by. We'll be talking about Good Friday a year from now, celebrating another year in cryptocurrency land. But that was a 192% rally. And then continuation. The rally lasts about, that was 129 bars on that one. This one was 104, or call it 130 bars. And just looking for more confluence here, this was the August 2016 halving, a year before there, exactly a year before pretty much the bull market starts. And you can see Bitcoin rallies up 180%. Continues on for 7,000% gains. Not a bad day. And what do you know? 126 bars. And let's go into this one here. 52 weeks out. 52 weeks before the first halving, November 2012. The halving, 52 bars out. Bitcoin's at $2.09. Rallies up 400%. Again, a bit of a sell-off right before the halving or right after, and then continues on for 106 bars. So call it 100 to 130 bars, 130 weeks. After the halving cycle, it looks like that's typically when the top gets put in. But that was a 40,000% gain. Not a bad day to be in Bitcoin land, and that's what I wanted to bring our attention to since we are in a bit of a sandpaper range here. And what other kind of looming, economic factors are above our heads? Kind of the five reasons why I think the bull market has started. 1, the Bitcoin halving. We're a year out. 2, a very similar injection of liquidity we saw during the COVID crisis. The Fed injected $500 billion to jumpstart the economy. The Fed just injected $350 billion to save the banks last month. So just the start of the bailouts, 3, central bank digital currency. I think, again, it's going to be Bitcoin independence or digital lockdowns with CBDCs. This, I believe, will be the ultimate catalyst for people to jump into Bitcoin. Nobody wants the government to have full-blown communism telling us when and where we can spend our money. And 4, whatever. BRICS nations are now denouncing the dollar and moving towards the petro-yuan. More and more countries are beginning to denounce the dollar for bilateral trade. I just saw a quote from the Saudi Arabian prince saying, look, we're no longer interested in pleasing the United States. I don't blame him. So, Bitcoin's price has consistently risen over the past decade, even during economic downturns. Bitcoin, it's got this fixed supply. It's a deflationary product. Unlike traditional currencies, Bitcoin is accessible to anybody with access to the internet, making it a democratic opportunity. I highly, highly recommend you don't miss out on this opportunity to invest in this revolutionary technology. Act now, start to learn how to trade, start to acquire Bitcoin. And with that, I'm going to jump into some of the TA for today. Bear with me just a second while I catch my bearings here as I'm going to jump into my regular charts, the sandpaper range on the daily time frame. And we're looking for a closure above or below these wicks here. Above or below the wicks. Good enough for me for the next 20% move on the daily time frame. As we've been saying, look, for the daily Stokes to flip, we've had about almost a reset. Now, if these come all the way down here and the price never comes down, that's going to be a very bullish indication for me. Or if they just cross back to the upside, a daily closure above 28,263. And you can see that number is coming down every day. We're getting closer and closer and closer. And pretty much, the first warning sign will kind of be a daily closure below 27,169. And then, anywhere below the yellow 21, very likely is going to bleed on into a bounce off this green 55. Probably going to get a bounce on the first pass. Probably going to come a little bit lower than the green 55 if it does get going down there. Now, on the other side of that, we do have the Gaussian channel, which is been very, very accurate and kind of calling some of the macro breakouts. Just closing above the mean band has resulted in typically a run back to the top side of the band, coming in at 32,350. So again, if Bitcoin does have one more splurt to the upside, I very likely do think at some point we're going to put in a big higher low somewhere. And that I think would be the most likely next major buying opportunity. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And just following up on what we talked about yesterday, which was our 4-hour target, which did not get hit, nor did it get invalidated. And what was I talking about was hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. And we did say, hey, look, this was the third higher low in price, lower low in RSI, should get us a shot to the top side of the range. And really, that's why some more conservative traders would have waited for a closure back above this high right here at 28,251. I personally like to front run decisions. Doesn't always work out, but the invalidation, I said, is a 4-hour closure back below 27,754, this pivot right here. And that very likely does bleed on into some of the lower term time frames, the higher term time frames if we close above there or below here. On the 4-hour, very likely going to get the next decent size move. The other thing I've been noticing here is this green 55 on the 8-hour time frame has only been tagged one time. It does look like it wants to get tagged at least one more time. Perhaps puts in a stronger higher low in this, or actually, I guess it would be a lower low now. Some would just call this a complex high. And if we did put in a low there, it could still validate as higher lows going through there on the 8-hour. I will notice this, that the 4-hour time frame has a chance to flip the Stokes back to the upside. In fact, they did just cross up 27,879. Below there, we'll cross it back down. So point for the bulls there, and maybe that target does play out to the top side of the range. We have extremely low volatility on the 4-hour, on the hourly, on the 15-minute. Oh, we're just starting to get expansion on the 15-minute time frame. So certainly this does look like it may start to break out to the upside, actually. 15-minute is not good enough for me to call some kind of a macro reversal shift or anything like that, but a short-term time frame run back to the top side of the range could definitely be in play here, coming in at 28,100. Volatility is beginning to expand there. The 5-minute does show that we will cross momentum back to the downside. Again, this has been the ultimate sandpaper range of the month, of the week. We've just been floating around in this area for quite some time. So I do imagine over the weekend, things are a little bit quieter. You can see volume is way down. People are probably enjoying their holiday day off today and enjoying their family and friends over the weekend. I think next week will be a big week for Bitcoin, as I do believe daily volatility is low. And in fact, we could play out some low volatility for, look at this period right here. How long did we sandpaper range right here? From November 22nd to January 9. So about a month and a half of sideways. I do think something else goosing the odds in the favor of the bears, I would say, is the 2-day time frame is kind of looking droopy here. I would wait for that 2-day closure back below 27,145 for the next kind of move down. But again, I think the daily is good enough for me to call it. You do have massive bearish divergence from these pivots right here. As you can see, we've got clear lower lows in RSI, lower highs in RSI, higher highs in price. That is the definition of bearish divergence. And hey, if you want to check out our bullish and bearish divergence cheat sheet, you can check it out on our resource center right here at bitcoinadvisors.com. Just click on the resource center and it will throw it up there for you. Other than that, guys, I think that's it out of me for today. I hope you have a blessed and highly favored weekend, and I'll be back next week with some more price action. Take care, and I'm going to sign out there.